What's up? Welcome back to Picky Garage. If you're tuning in for the first time, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Today I have two very unique cars. I have my 2017 GT350R in avalanche gray, one of four in this color without a stripe. There's only 18 avalanche gray cars in total. Four of them were non-stripe. And then we have a brand new 2021 GT500 carbon fiber track plaque, newly added to the garage. These are two very unique vehicles. Some of the things that make them very unique are the carbon fiber parts, the weight savings for the GT350R, the engine. But I'm going to go ahead and do a little comparison video comparing these two cars. Starting off, you can see right from the bat, they have two very different front fascias. The GT500, since it is a supercharged 760 horsepower V8, it needed a lot more cooling. So Ford has 50% more cooling. You can see the coolers in the front. The front fascia is a lot bigger. There's a lot more aerodynamic plastic going on here from the GT350R. The GT350R has a flat plane crank 526 horsepower engine, which is a lot lighter and a lot easier to cool. This is a bigger, beefier animal. You can also see the hood vents in the front of the car. A big thing that was added to the GT500s that the GT350Rs lacked was hood pins. When you get this car up to about 115 miles an hour, due to this little slip right here, and on the other side, it actually caused the hood at high speeds to kind of shake and lift. So it really made you feel insecure at top speeds. Ford went ahead and made a big change with that, putting hood pins in the new GT500 so that wouldn't happen. And it helped a lot. As you can see, it's the same kind of front fascia where these little headlights right here, you know, air can pick it up or pick up in those areas. Moving to the side of the car, both of these vehicles have carbon fiber wheels. The GT350R wheels are not exposed carbon, they're painted gloss black. These wheels are 19-inch wheels, I believe 19 by 11, with a 15-inch rotor and 6-piston brakes, Brembo brakes. This car does a great job at stopping. They come with 305 Cup 2 or Pilot Sport Cup 2 racing tires. If you get a newer generation, so the 18, 19, and 20, they don't come with the drilled rotors anymore. I don't know what the reason is for that, but they no longer do that. If you get a 16, some of the early 16 models on the GT350R don't have the coated center wheels, so the inside lining isn't coated. The reason for that is the brakes were getting so hot that it was melting the black paint, so they went ahead and put a heat shield coating on the wheels to prevent that. If you look at the GT500 exposed carbon wheels, these are 20-inch wheels with I believe 305s as well, and these are Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires also. These are these also have 16-inch rotors, so an inch bigger than the GT350R, and 6-piston brakes as well. But I mean, you can see the caliper is so much bigger. The rotor's so much bigger. And the really interesting thing is both this wheel and this wheel will weigh exactly the same. And if you ever took a carbon fiber wheel off of one of these cars, you would be blown away by how light it is. I actually had my tires changed on the back of the GT350R, and I was able to feel the wheel, and it was insane how light it was. I want to say around 10 to 15 pounds. I'm not sure on the exact number, but it was very, very, very light. Moving to the side of the vehicles, the GT500 has a Cobra emblem on the side, where the GT350 has just a GT350. The GT350s also have these side louvers here that are actual functional. You can actually see through them. On the GT500, they do not have that. The side skirts on the GT500 are a little bit bigger and have a little flare on the bottom here, whereas the GT350 doesn't. As you can see on the GT350, I have a rock guard in because a lot of rocks come across the back and will chip up the side of the car. So need to get them on this, but you can see already this car has no miles on it right now, and you know, just from driving in the driveway, the rocks are already starting to collect there. So moving to the back, you have 315s on both the 350R and the GT500. The only difference is these are 20-inch wheels, where these are 19. Moving to the back, the backs are very similar, except this GT350R has a painted fixed position carbon fiber wing, whereas the GT500 has a changing position, so you can actually change the angle and direction of the back wing on this, and this is exposed carbon fiber to meet with the GT500's exposed carbon fiber wheels. The back of the car is pretty similar. You have a big Cobra emblem on there. The rear diffuser is different than the GT350R. The GT350R has the distinctive red GT350 emblem. And another thing to note on the GT350R, these exhausts are actually fake, so that is built into the rear diffuser. The actual exhaust is much smaller. You can see it inside there, and these metal tips are just built into the rear diffuser. On the GT500, they changed that. These big exhaust pipes are actually the real thing. They're the real exhaust pipes. And you have the center brake light there. Yes, very, I kind of like the real exhaust tips a lot better than the GT350R. This GT500 has a optioned painted roof, which you could also do on the GT350s and GT350Rs, but I didn't elect for that. So moving inside the GT350R, the seats in the 2016, 17, and I believe 18 are this standard option. So red stitching, Alcantara Recaros with the red R emblem up top. They are rear seat delete. The GT350Rs, they don't have a rear seat. In the 18 and 19, you can actually spec for a rear seat if you wanted one, but I don't know why anyone would want a rear seat in this race car. In the GT350R, you have a 6-speed Tremec gearbox. Also, you have Sync 3 in this thing. The newer model GT350Rs allow for carbon fiber inserts here. My year, 2017, didn't have that. Let's move to the driver's side. So the driver's side does have an Alcantara steering wheel with the red stitching, lane, whatever you want to call it. I forget what it's called. But it's a red racing stripe in the center of the steering wheel. That's another way to distinctively tell from the difference from the GT350R to the regular GT350s. Once again, red GT350R emblem up here. You have the dials in the center. You have a distinctive GT350R plaque giving the chassis number. The gross weight on a GT350R is 4,140 pounds. That is probably lighter than on the GT500. So I'll take you inside this GT500. The gross weight on this is 4,650 pounds. So as you can see, the GT500 interior is a little bit different. You have leather sides here, whereas on the GT350 you had Alcantara. I don't think I showed you that, so I will open it up and show you. You can see Alcantara with a red stitching. Open up the GT500. You have the leather here. The steering wheel is Alcantara, but instead of the red race stripe, you have a white race stripe and white stitching to match. The seats have leather upholstery on the sides with white accents, white leather accents. So you can see, it looks very nice on a white car, but that's actually the standard option with all of the GT500s. You also have the rear seat deletes, the same as the GT350R. The only difference is with the GT500, you do not get the you know, special emblem, you know, anything that distincts it from the regular GT350 when it's the carbon fiber track pack. Moving inside the car, you actually have a digital gauge instead of the GT350R's analog gauge. You have exhaust modes, you have this dial to change you from park, reverse, neutral, and drive. You have the updated Sync 4 infotainment system, leather side skirts on the side here, only 2 pedals because this is automatic. Here's the carbon fiber that is different from the, you know, 17 and older GT350Rs. You can get the carbon fiber in the newer GT350Rs. Yeah, so that's pretty much the inside of this thing. Let me go ahead and show you the analog dials on the GT350R, and then we can open up the engines on these bad boys, and you guys can see the difference in the engines. So here's the analog dials on the GT350R. This does have exhaust modes like the 500. One thing to note, this car always starts in quiet mode, and then you have to go ahead and hit the selector to change it into loud mode. The GT500, on the other hand, they can actually start in loud mode, which is a really nice feature. Let me go ahead and open the hoods up. The same way to open the hood on the GT500 and GT350R. All right, one thing to note with the GT350R, it is a manual hood latch. It doesn't open up automatically like the hydraulic arm on the GT500. There's the big old supercharger on top of there. That's a big engine, a lot of weight. This plastic piece does come off, allows for some more cooling if you want it. This is the stock airbox. The GT350R has an open airbox, but I do have a different air filter on there. This does have the air oil separator from Ford Performance. The GT500 also has a air oil separator right here that actually comes from factory that you can put on there, but we had the dealership put it on. The hood latches are a big improvement on this thing, but yeah, there's the 2 cars with the hoods up. Okay, I will go ahead and start the GT500 up for you guys so you can hear the difference. This is a very loud car. Let's see what mode we're in. So right now it's normal mode. Is cold. Well, let's go ahead and put it into let's do track. Start the actually let's see what the engine sounds like. Take it to the front. Okay, let's move to the 350R now. this button right here and sport. But yeah, that's pretty much the differences between the GT350R and the GT500. The GT500 is about 500 pounds heavier, but it's also over 200 horsepower, 200 more horsepower than the GT350R. So the power to weight ratio is probably a lot better on the GT500. I don't know, I'll have to crack those numbers, but horsepower doesn't really matter. What matters is the power to weight ratio. That's the true, you know, what truly makes a car faster than the other. Car can have all this power, but one, if it doesn't put it down, or two, if it's super heavy, it doesn't really matter. I do know that the GT500, the easiest way to explain it is it's a GT350R with 200 more horsepower. It handles like it's on rails, like the GT350R. The GT350R revs to 8,250 RPM. The GT500 is like 7,500 RPM. This does have a dual clutch automatic transmission, where this has a 6-speed manual in it. But yeah, that's pretty much the big comparison between the GT500 carbon fiber track pack and the GT350R. Both super rare cars, super unique cars in their own way. Some people prefer the GT350R because it has the manual, and some people like the automatics dual clutch. Me personally, when I'm doing a lot of hardcore spiritual or spirit racing in the back of you know, on these back roads, I like automatic a lot more than I like the manuals. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have today, guys, on the comparison between the GT350R and the GT500. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns about these two vehicles, you can let me know in the comments below, and I'll get back to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for checking out the channel.